I say this? If you decide to fight, like I understand that's a factual reality about his personality, his character. And he's really the embodiment of the system we have because he has grown up in that system. And he knows it so well. But the fact is, if you decide to fight a war, you must first decide to win. Because if you don't, then there's no need to fight. So I was just, as a word of encouragement, don't allow fear or any kind of, however terrible he is. Of course, there have been people who've been more than that in history before, and they were brought down. So this is not an impossibility. That's number one. Number two, let us remember as well, we are dealing with more than a person. It's a system that has produced this person. And we need to grapple our minds about that because, again, we keep saying that it is very possible for us to have a revolution without revolutionary change. What happened in 2002 was some sort of a revolution, but without revolutionary change. And that is why in 2007 things happened the way they did, and why we ended up also in 2013 with those two guys, you remember? And the way people voted. So we need revolutionary change. That's the most important, foundation. Civic education is important, even as we do that build up. And finally, let me just mention about this thing about the challenge, for example, as an example of building momentum. I don't know why it has taken us so long to get here. I keep lamenting that when we had the whole world and the country, focused on us, this is what we should have done. Either way, still, it's better late than never to learn. And the fact is that we've already exercised Article 1 before. I don't know why we are trying to imagine that we haven't. In the lead up to 25th, things were happening. People were translating the bill into languages, various local languages. People are doing civic education. People are producing videos. It became the national conversation. And the people became the people. Okay? They became one block against this specific issue. And it was galvanized in that manner. And besides that, there were protests happening, although they were small. But on the other hand, there were protests happening. On this other side, people were coming up together into one block of people. And when they went contrary to what not only just the people, even like stakeholders, people in the industries and all those kinds of people, even the church, when people came out and said, we don't want this finance bill, and they still went ahead, then it kicked into action. And we've already done this before. Recreating 25th is not a matter of just going to the street tomorrow. It is a matter of recreating the conditions that led to 25th. And I actually agree that the character and personality of the system embodied by this guy is the kind that you cannot per se do it through elections. You cannot impeach the guy. You cannot use the law to save the constitution from this guy or from the system. The only thing that can work is straight action. But in order for that to happen, there has to be that momentum. There has to be that build-up. So as I learn, all I'm saying is simply this, that let's have the correct way of thinking. What is most immediate right now is how do we make, and remember, Reject Finance Bill was an issue-based thing. I'm going to burst your bubbles, by the way. I don't know if you guys really understand how infiltration and intelligence agencies work. It's even the thing about what's his name again, Gachagua. Apparently organizing a coup. There's a possibility that may have been a thing Either way, still, it's not through the Gen Z protest, but they're going to target to the Gen Z protest because they cannot believe that people, that they're called catechumen, you know, cattle humans, these goyim, these parasites, that they stood up with one voice. And so they're going to target in that manner. But the fact is that where was I going with this? Yeah, so the fact is that after Reject Finance Bill happened the way it did, something came up which for me was inconclusive. I understand the sentiment, but the hashtag itself was inconclusive. Ruto must go is not complete by itself. You have to tag with something specific, a specific issue. And I think that's what it has been an impediment. If I'm going to be honest, I'm just finishing in a minute. If I'm going to be honest, it has been an impediment because it can be misused by the state to say these people wanataka kupindua serikali, and so it justifies the abductions and all these funny things they are doing. But if it was an issue-based, if we come together around an issue-based, recreating the conditions that led to 25th, which is there's a specific issue and there's a momentum and a build-up. My friends, we don't even have to wait for next year's budget making season. We can deal with Adani, we can deal with Schiff, we can deal with anything, even the abductions themselves. Whatever the issue is, as long as it's an issue, we can recreate those conditions. So let me land there, Real Joe. I'll come back with my other account. Sorry, I was doing something this. And also let me advertise a bit here that we are planning to visit the families of the dead, you know, the guys we lost during the protest. So you can find the information on my profile. And yeah, to patane baadaye. Thank you.
Thank you, Tusiwa Forget. Tusiwa Forget is an initiative started by John Seremani, who is part of, maybe you would have seen, he was co-hosting with me. They are seeking justice for the families that lost their loved ones during the protests that happened on 25th. And they are trying to get justice for these families. They are also supporting those families. So you can link up with Tusiwa Forget. You can follow them and support them wherever you can to be able to ensure that we get justice. Otherwise, like I said, when we were starting the space, we have to find justice for ourselves. And that is quite unfortunate. Imagine an initiative like Tusiwa Forget that is trying to get justice for those people who lost their family members, and the government is silent. I have said before that we have also been trying to seek justice through an initiative that we started through our Bunge la Wananchi in Jivanji, and we had to go to East African Court of Justice and sued the government and things like that. Imagine we have to seek justice for ourselves. Even though lately I am not so much involved with Bunge la Wananchi, I saw they went to the other side. But anyway, that is a story for another day. So basically, the topic of today is pursuit of justice, and we have seen that justice is something that we have to source for justice ourselves. The judiciary is supposed to uphold the rule of law and ensure that justice is our shield and defender. That is the one role that they have been given in our constitution, and they have failed to perform that role. We are living in a country whereby education funding model, such a simple thing, Kenyans have to go to court to demand better. Whereas we have a government that has a budget of about 676 billion for education, and the majority of this budget does not support the education itself. It supports administration of education, such a pity. We also have a government that has bursaries all over, and leaders have bursaries, access to bursaries, funding from MCA to governor to all the top, to the office of the first lady, to the spouse of the deputy president, to spouse of the prime cabinet secretary, all of them have bursaries. Yet we don't have education that works. And they have huge amount of money in terms of bursaries. And we don't have people learning. Right now, today, it was just thrown on people. Today's a public holiday. Yet there was an examination going on and things like that. So we are in a country where we have to pursue justice on our own. And that is what drives our topic today, pursuit of justice. And we have all agreed that to pursue justice as a citizenry, there's no way citizens will pursue justice without civil disobedience. In fact, it is the only way to pursue justice as a citizenry. There's no other way that citizens will pursue justice other than civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is enshrined in our constitution under Article 37. It is your right again. But not to mention the constitution so much, the people are above the constitution, and governing authorities know that the people are above the constitution, because there is no constitution without the people. That is why if you read the preamble of the Kenyan constitution, we say we give ourselves this constitution. Therefore, the constitution does not exist without the people, and therefore the people are above the constitution. But for you to be above this constitution, you have to be united as the people. You have to be the people to be above the constitution. And that is why we are all calling for unity. Right now, the country is divided. They have managed to do that. We are not speaking the same language. We have people talking about, there are people who are disgruntled because of the impeachment of the deputy president. We have so many people, a lot of things happening. They're even throwing it so much at us and saying, 25th was a coup, so that as many people as possible can distance themselves from this. But do you know what advantages we have? We have the following advantage. We have an health system that does not work, and Kenyans can see it for themselves. That is an advantage to us. We have an education system that does not work, and Kenyans can see it from themselves. That is an advantage to us. We have an economy that is crippled with the debt. Just yesterday, IMF approved another 78 billion, which is, as we all know.
Don't talk about that shit, bro. It breaks our heart.
I didn't get you rightly. Someone was trying to talk.
Okay, I couldn't just hold my horses on this one. And I really respect you guys. Ruto alituambia the reason why he went for Adani is because hakuwa anataka kwenda kwa mkopo. Like, he goes for a loan, which becomes a burden for taxpayers. Sindio? He took Adani for JKIA, Schiff, the one we're calling Sha now, and Katrako, the energy sector. Akasema he did that because he didn't want Kenyans to be indebted. And then just yesterday, as recent as yesterday, the IMF gives him a loan, 78, is it 78 or 74?
78 billion.
78 billion Kenya shillings as a loan. This is not donation. It's a loan, which means tutalipa. If you take a loan, you get to pay that loan. So don't go there, bro.
Yeah. So actually, Jeffrey, maybe you didn't get me right. What I was saying is some of the advantages that we have as a people is, I was talking about the shift that does not work, education system that does not work. The government is taking another huge loan of 78 billion approved by IMF, which is an advantage to us. Why? It is going to the IMF. They always give their loans, and they always want you to raise taxes. The government will try to raise taxes. The people have a right again to defy these taxes, just as but just as we did with the finance bill. So these are advantages that are coming to our end, and this can unite us. They give us a reason to fight, and they give us more reasons to defy this regime. That is what actually I meant. I did not. I was not in support of the loan. I would never be in support of that. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is, we have to be the people to be as powerful as we want to be. We have to be the people. We have to be united. That is the major call I'm trying to put across here. And unity sometimes, as a people, unity sometimes starts slowly by slowly. It is build up. It is build up. That is why I agree so much with the sentiments from Wallace. When we start slowly with this challenge, patriotism challenge, and people join from wherever they are, people will join. Kenyans are ready. Kenyans are ready to join these kind of challenges. People will join. I know when we start from the onset, not everybody will do it, but we have to do it regardless. We have to do it. We have to chant. We have to chant. We have to chant, and it goes viral. And we chant, and people get the unity of purpose, and people know that every day, maybe every Friday at 2 p.m., they have to stop whatever they are doing, or they have to chant all this from wherever they are to send a message. And lastly, we need to illuminate the masses as much as we can. We need to do that. I like what the likes of Willie Oeba are doing in the matatus every day. If we can have as many people as possible doing those kind of things, educating people directly from the sources, from where they are, that will work in ensuring that people get the message. The message is driven home. Maggie, I want to get back to you. Then you can give Wallace and John a chance to speak. I saw your hand is up, Maggie.
Thank you. I think it's a really good discussion, but I think I just want to be a mediator to this. I think what Human said, she's not in that here, but she said something really important about the systems. Like right now, even like what just Jeffy, thank you for your points, but what you just the anger that you had when Real Joe mentioned the loan, I get that. But what I just want to say is we can spend so much time here on space. We can argue, we can feel bad, but already I think Human mentioned the right thing. Systems have failed and they're not gonna work in this government. So we need to know that. I think that's what we need to put in our heads. Let's not say, okay, this is we already know they're failing. So what do we need to do? And I think that's where now this comes in, like what we're doing about what Wallace is saying. We need that collective, what Joe is saying, we need that collective voice, that one voice that we had during the finance bill. That's the way I came to know about Twitter and all these things. And I didn't know anything about this before, and I didn't have this passion that I had for my country. But I had it because of what was going on in Kenya and the finance bill, like the uproar about it. There was WhatsApp messages about it. But everybody had a collective voice and a collective. It wasn't about Ruto must go. Like I think somebody mentioned about the Ruto must go hashtag. That one it's a no-go. It's a dead horse, to be honest, because there's some people who